Congratulations to Lee Pitts Live, recipient of the NAACP Image Award.
And welcome back, Southwest Florida. We're so delighted to be able to welcome him to the community. Pick that up with you, Rev. And I know you watch Lee Pitts Live all the time. You tell us how you go about your Lee Pitts Live viewing, Pastor Neal. How you were saying you recorded because your church service. Go ahead.
Well, our church service starts at 9 a.m. on Sunday mornings, and so I don't miss an episode of Lee Pitts and have a later opportunity to view it. I record it.
Right.
And,
so we're encouraging everybody to do that.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Now, how long have you been in the community?
I'm just arriving to the Naples community at the end of this past March.
Okay. So, having been in the community for a relatively small period of time, do you find that the television show brings you up to speed pretty quickly on some of the things going on in the community? Have we been able to help you learn Southwest Florida from our guests?
Well, the show has been a blessing to me because anytime that you transition from one state to another, one locale to another, you need an avenue to kind of keep you abreast of the things that are going on around you so that you can be present in the community.
That's great. Unity Faith Missionary Baptist Church, you just mentioned that you came from somewhere else. Where did you migrate here from, and how are you finding the experience now at Unity Faith Missionary?
Well, I'm actually coming from central Alabama, the capital, Montgomery, down to South Florida. The first thing that I find to be a blessing is the tropical climate. No more ice and no more snow. It is a beautiful city. The people are warm, and moving to South Florida has been a very rewarding experience, both to myself and my wife, who is with us. And I think that Naples offers a different brand.
But first, before you go to Naples, call your wife's name, man. Make her famous.
Sister Tammy, T-A-M-I, spell it correctly.
Hey, Tammy. see how I hooked you up, Tammy? Got the hubby to call your name? Go ahead.
Yeah, I appreciate that, because that's the greatest mistake a pastor can make, is not recognize his wife.
Right.
But yes, we are enjoying Naples tremendously. We were kind of had our feel of the cold climate, and the tropical climate is very, very pleasing to us, and it's a beautiful city. It's a beautiful area.
We're glad to have you here. The fact that you're from Alabama, of course, I'm from Alabama, so two Alabama boys, we invading South Florida. So we got very similar value systems coming from Alabama. What can people expect to get when they come to worship with you at Unity Faith? And tell us your worship hours.
First of all, our worship hours are, we have a Sunday morning Bible enrichment that begins at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. and we have a short break for everybody to get acclimated and prepare for the worship service that starts at 10:15 each Sunday. Coming to Unity Faith, we have a mission, and our mission first is to make the faith-based community aware that we are there and that we evangelize Christ. That's our first goal. Our second goal is we are aware of the needs of our young people throughout the community, and there's always an increasing need because of the relatively fast-paced growth of the technological world. We constantly have to make adjustments, and we constantly have to make resources available to our young people that competes, if you will, with what is going on outside of the faith-based community. We have our Twitters and Facebook and LinkedIn's and so on and so forth, and we have to reach our children with all of those avenues and let them know that you can still be a faith-based individual and not just really focus on what is being presented to you in a non-faith atmosphere.
Now, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because certainly you and I may be older than you, but I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. Now, check this out.
Thank you.
We came up, we heard the old gospel music, James Cleveland Jones, Shirley Caesar, Walter Hawkins, different types of music, the way it was presented, the gospel music. Now it's almost sounding what I would call secular music, hip hop, and so on. Gospel music, that is. How do you, being from the old school, how do you migrate that in? How do you let the new generation kind of go there, have their way with the music as well? How does that work?
Well, what we have as a church, we have a foundation principle we understand the changing of times and the expressions of different music and things like that. As a leader, it is my job to remind us that everything that we do still has to be relevant to the faith that we follow. So that's what we do. We look at it, and as long as it points to the cross, if you will, points to the Word of God, if you will, we are open to understanding and making adjustments to keep our youth engaged. But our primary focus is not to compromise the gospel of Christ for the sake of drawing. But we do understand that they have a different way of expressing ourselves, but we just look at the content, make sure the content is relevant.
Now, over the years, I have had the choir and the children's choir as well from Unity Faith on the show, and they always do an outstanding job there. The church in general, particularly the black church, in modern society, what do you, outside of preaching the gospel, what other roles do you think the black church still can provide to the community?
Well, as a church community and as the leader, I still feel that we have a responsibility to our children for education, especially Christian education. One of the things that we kind of fall short on is that we send our kids off to our public schools or even our private schools and give them the responsibility of educating our children as if we have a delegated responsibility for that. And we don't. We still have a responsibility to support our public school system, private school systems, and be there to provide tutoring, to provide resources and educational strategies for our children to be successful.
And to that end, tell us how Unity Faith Missionary Baptist Church is going about that specifically.
Well, in my relative short tenure, we are planning in the future to expand our facility to provide a resource center for our youth, mentoring programs. We are partnering with many of our groups in the community like Delta Sigma Theta, as well as the NAACP. We are a pro-STEM program church. We believe in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And with that, we are moving our church in the direction of being a support and a resource center for all of those things to better our youth chances for a great future.
Excellent. We see contact information for you on the screen, email address and a phone number. I would assume that if they email you, you personally will respond to that email?
Yes. That's my personal email address, as well as we do have a website for our church, which is unityfaithmbc.com. If you go to our website, there is also a link to my personal email, as well as a blog. If you want to have share your comments with Pastor Neal, myself, I will respond to you personally.
That's great. Now, tell us about the inclusion, diversity. How do you approach that at your church? I know you're black and you may have a majority black congregation, but you welcome everybody to your church.
Absolutely. While we have a history of being a majority black church, we see a transitioning of that taking place right now. We have a lot of West Indian members. We have a lot of Hispanic. We have a lot of even white members. And we don't close the door to anyone. When we say people of color, we mean all colors.
That's excellent. Well, Reverend, it's been a pleasure to have you here on the show. And I know you and I are going to see each other some more. Well, what did you think about Chef Michelle's food?
I think Chef Michelle has a very interesting twist to all of her food, and I'm enjoying it so far, and we look forward to establishing a relationship with her in the future.
All right, let's bump you out, and it's a nice watch, by the way, man. I know this is your first time on the show, but all the other preachers know, never come on the show and outdress me, and you just broke the cardinal rule. What you got to say to that?
I'm dressed down today, so don't take offense to it.
All right, folks. Happy holidays again. Happy Thanksgiving. We're going to go to a break. Come back. We'll talk to Lee Ford. Lee Ford out in the field at the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. We'll be right back.